What is up, everybody? It's Cobes here, and today I'm back with a Fortnite video. In today's video, we do have a location bracket. I have 16 out of the 20 locations on the screen right now, and there's 4 that I left off just because, 20 locations isn't a clean 16 like you see on the screen. Adding 20 of anything on a bracket just gets a little bit too complicated. So I didn't add in Wailing Woods, Junk Junction, Shifty Shaft, and Loot Lake. If you guys want to tell me why I should have added those, please leave a comment and then jump off. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I just really hate these locations. You'll never see me land here. You'll never see me land at those 4 locations. Even if there's a challenge, I think I'll just say, fuck it, I'm not going. I'm not doing it. No, I won't stoop so low. But let's start out in our top left. I'll try to give an explanation of why I like certain places, but honestly, I don't land at a ton of different spots. I have my few locations that I really like, and I land there most of the time. But in our top left, we have Anarchy Acre and Dusty Divot. For me personally, Dusty Divot is just a little bit too hectic, and I like the RNG aspect of Fortnite. If you guys didn't know what that means, it basically means like, for me, I'm talking about random guns, random items you get from chests or wherever they spawn on the ground. Whatever random guns you get, basically, that's what RNG means. It's random number generator, which basically is the chances you get a certain gun. So if you're landing at Dusty Divot, the chances of you even landing fast enough to get a gun and then killing other people, like 15 other people in that location, it's just a little bit too hectic for me. I like the RNG aspect, but I like it when I actually have the guns I want, or at least decent guns where I don't have to have a revolver to try to spray at like 10 different people who may have a shotgun and could easily kill me. I really like the jumping aspect, but later on in the game, like with the hop rocks, of course, but in early game, it's just a little bit too random, and I feel like there's no skill involved for whoever ends up winning in that location. If you don't have a perfect landing, you're not gonna win. But for Anarchy Acres, I feel like it's a pretty like underused location. Not too many people land there, maybe 3 or 4 per game, but you'll end up getting some pretty good loot. And I do like the rotation of Anarchy Acres more than Fatal Fields. I'll just say that now, just because it's close to Pleasant Park, it's close to the motel. So if I want to go there after I go to the motel, which is one of my favorite spots, I will definitely go to Anarchy Acres if it's in the circle, kill anyone who's there, and I'll usually get some pretty good loot. So Anarchy Acre, definitely moving on for this one. Now, we have Fatal Fields versus Flush Factory. For me, Fatal Fields and Anarchy Acre, they could like switch their names and I wouldn't even notice. Like Fortnite, you should do that. Literally do that, Fortnite. That would be hilarious. I would love to see if anyone actually noticed. Because I would say the vast majority of people, if you switch these names, probably wouldn't even notice. Like they're very similar. But against Flush Factory, I would say Flush Factory is just a little bit too far outside the map for the most part. The circle is going to be like hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of meters away. So unless I'm really tryharding, I would say I probably won't even go Flush Factory because there's still going to be people there. Like, let's say we're talking about some competitive gameplay or even solo showdown, which was very competitive. Flush Factory isn't a good spot to go. It's super far outside the circle and people land there. So that's not a place I would ever land in any scenario, really. If I'm trying to play aggressive, I won't land there. If I'm trying to play passive, I won't land there. It's just not a good spot in my opinion. Fatal Fields winning this one. Let's move on to Greasy Grove versus Haunted Hills. And I'll just be straight up with you guys. Haunted Hills is one of those locations that I didn't know if I should just keep it off this 16 tier bracket. Honestly, between this and maybe like Junk Junction, I don't know which one I really like more. Greasy Grove is, in my opinion, like a downgraded version of Pleasant Park. I like Pleasant Park a lot, And Greasy Grove is a downgraded version, but I still do think it's a great spot to land. It's a little bit far outside the circle for the most part in most situations, but I still really do like this spot. Greasy Grove easily winning against Haunted Hills. Okay, now we have Lonely Lodge versus Lucky Landing. Honestly, Lucky Landing would easily win this one straight off the bat, but Lonely Lodge does have the mansion, and I loved going to the mansion in Solo Showdown. It was one of my favorite spots, but I don't really know if that qualifies as Lonely Lodge. But just going to the original OG Lonely Lodge, I personally don't like it all that much. Even though Lucky Landing is super far outside the map, I love the color design. It's the most colorful place on this map. I hope we see more like it. I love the red and the pink, you know, the only pink tree in this game. I love that, and I love that Fortnite did this. Even though it's not a very populated area, I do think Lucky Landing is going to win this one for me. Lonely Lodge, you know, if it would have faced maybe Haunted Hills, even Fatal Fields, I could have seen it winning easily, but Lucky Landing is moving on to face Greasy Grove next. Now we have Moisty Mire versus Pleasant Park. For me, Moisty Mire is a location I could see myself going to if I was trying to be very try hard, but also get good loot. Like, you can easily grind out 999 wood if you're going Moisty Mire. I think that's one of the positives of going there. You're gonna end up with guns, you're gonna end up with pretty good guns, and you can rotate over to the prison, which will have some people there. If you kill them, you can get their loot, which should end up being pretty good for yourself. So Moisty Mire, I can't see people liking this one, but for me, Pleasant Park, I love how it's just plains. Like, it's a flat surface, unlike Retail Row, which has a little bit of a decline. Like, from the shops to the houses, there's a road basically declining down. I personally don't like that. I love the flatlands at Pleasant Park. I feel like I excel there. So Pleasant Park, easily moving on. One of my favorite spots in this game. Now we have Retail Row versus Risky Reels. And honestly, Risky Reels, I just dislike it a lot. I don't like the hop rocks there. It's a little bit like odd fighting there. I think the buildings just aren't good for fighting. I just don't like fighting there at all. Like, no part of me wants to go there. But Retail Row, it's just an iconic spot. I love going to cities that aren't super populated, but maybe they have 5 or 6 people there, which I would say Retail Row does. And at most, like, for an average game, I'll say you'll probably face like 3 to 4 people there, maybe less sometimes, maybe more. But I really like this spot. So Retail, easily moving on. Now we have Snobby Shores versus Salty Springs. For me, I never land at Salty Springs. Snobby Shores is very outside of the map, but I love its design. I really love how the houses are all in a row, and you basically have to get some materials to build over the walls and get into your gunfights. I really think it's a creative design for a spot on the map, and I really like it more than Salty Springs. Even though I think Salty Springs is a decent spot, it's just not for me. It's just, you know, it has that same thing going on that Retail does. It has that decline, and I don't know why I dislike that so much. I feel like I'm just at a disadvantage. And there's a mountain that's overlooking Salty Springs that's very annoying if someone's just sitting up there with like a sniper or something. Same with Retail Row. It has a pretty annoying mountain. Pleasant Park, you'll really never see anyone on mountains over there, but you will in Retail Row and Salty. So Snobby Shores, definitely moving on. Now we have Tomato Town versus Tilted Towers. I used to love Tilted Towers. It used to be my favorite spot. I would land there every single game. It was more often when I would play duos, and I would get some high kill games going there, and I really did enjoy it for the time. But I think they just changed Tilted, and I don't think I'm ever going to be going back there. I really don't like Tilted all that much, but it really, like, comparing it to Tomato Town, I have to give Tilted the win. Tomato Town is just not good enough to really even be a named location, in my opinion. You're not going to get very much loot going to Tomato Town. I feel like there's so many other great spots, like unnamed locations. If you wanted to go to factories, go there instead of Tomato Town. Go to Motel. go to the mansion near Lonely Lodge. So many other locations you can go to that are good if you don't want to fight people but get good loot. So Tomato Town, I'm not feeling it. Tilted is easily moving on. Now we have Anarchy Acres versus Fatal Fields. And since I think they're very similar, I'm just going to give to Anarchy Acre because I like the rotation more. It's very close to Pleasant, it's close to Motel, and those are some of my favorite spots in this game. So Anarchy Acre moving on. Now we have Greasy Grove versus Lucky Landing. This one isn't very tough for me. Lucky Landing's just a little bit too far outside of the zone for the most part. And when you're running into the zone, I really don't like running from Lucky into the zone. Usually, you're gonna have to run through like a bunch of mountains, and I don't like being paranoid 24/7 when I'm running like in between like 7 mountains on each side, waiting just to be shot from the back and have no chance of escape. And if I try to rush that guy, he's gonna spray down my staircase and I'm gonna die. So Greasy Grove, definitely a great spot in this game. I really do enjoy it. I think it is underrated and you guys should definitely go there. It has good loot. It's very flat, just like Pleasant Park. So I really do like that spot. Okay, now we have Pleasant Park versus Retail Row. I can't believe these two faced off so early because I really do like these locations. I would say 80% of the games I play, I go to either of these. But as you guys already know, I talked about it. I think Pleasant Park has to move on. Overall, I like the aesthetics more at Pleasant Park. I like the gun battles I get into. It really is like build heavy in Pleasant Park. And Retail Row, I don't think it is as build heavy. I really don't. But I really like Pleasant Park. It's moving on. Now we have Snobby Shores versus Tilted Towers. Snobby is a location where you're gonna end up, if you win, you're gonna end up with some great loot. Same with Tilted Towers if you end up killing everyone. But most likely, you're gonna end up with some actual shield, some health left if you go Snobby. You're gonna get into a couple gun confrontations, maybe none if you're lucky. But all in all, I think Snobby Shores is easily gonna win this one. I just don't like Tilted that much anymore. I used to. If I was making this list before, maybe it would have won, but not nowadays. Now we have Anarchy Acre versus Greasy Grove. And for me, honestly, Anarchy Acre just made it a little bit too far on this list. I feel like the right side was easily better than the left side. Like, it had some of my favorites on the right, like Retail Row, Pleasant Park, Snobby Shore, even Salty Springs, you know. Some great locations on the right. The left side had some pretty weak competition, if I'm being honest. But Anarchy Acres, it's all right. You know, it's an all right location. I'll land there every once in a while. But Greasy Grove is just better. I really like the city aspect or the town aspect of any location on these maps. So easily Greasy Grove's moving on. So now we have Pleasant Park versus Snobby Shores. And for me, I just have to say it. Pleasant Park easily moving on against Snobby Shore. Snobby Shore, don't get me wrong, it is one of my favorite locations if I'm trying to play more passive. If I'm playing aggressive, I'm going Pleasant Park all day long. I love getting into gunfights there. I would like to know how many kills I've gotten there. I would say maybe 3,000 out of like the 7,000 I have, maybe 4,000. I really don't know, but I would really like to know. That would be an awesome statistic to see. But now we have Pleasant Park versus Greasy Grove. And these are both very flat areas. So you guys can definitely see which locations I like the most. I like flatlands with buildings, with houses. And the more houses, the better. So all in all, I think Greasy Grove is awesome. There is some like locations where you can go downstairs, I think at the hamburger shop. I don't know if there's any other area where you can go underground, but I think that's the only one. But I think the houses have to win this one. I love getting into gun confrontations and fights where there's just a bunch of houses and it's flat. I think that's where I excel the most, like the mid-range gun battles. I'm really good. I think I'm the best with an AR at mid-range. So that's where I go to. That's where I get most of my kills. Pleasant Park is the winner for today, for today's bracket. I really can't deny that. It's my favorite spot. some locations that I think could have made it further if they're on the left side. I don't know if Retail Row would have made it further than Snobby. Honestly, like, it may be a basic answer, but I think it would have. And okay, I'll give you like my list, maybe my top 5. I'll say that. So Pleasant Park number 1. I would have to give it to Retail Row number 2. Snobby Shores number 3. Ooh, this is tough. This is tough. Like, those are my 3 main locations. The top 2 are my main locations. Greasy Grove number 4, and maybe like Salty Springs number 5. Yeah, I think that's a good list. So tell me what you guys think. If you guys totally disagree, tell me in the comment section. But this is just where I like to land. Hey, if you don't like these locations, you won't have to fight me early game. Maybe you'll fight me later on and get smacked. No, I'm lying. I'll probably die. But thank you guys for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, turn on those notifications if you guys are new and you haven't already. I do stream every single day. For the most part, I may miss a day once a week, once every 2 weeks, but for the most part, I'm streaming every day, even sometimes twice a day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.